was like the longest wait ever.
I felt like something was supposed to happen after the timer was off.
I know. I was thinking of doing something with After Effects, but it was just the counter, and it counted down to 0, and then it started over. So I had to like press it right at the right time. How can you hear? You can hear me good?
Yeah, I could hear you good.
Yeah. Look at this setup, everybody. We're in. I'm in the vault, as I call it. Raina is in the
The office,
office.
my
Yes.
usual scene.
Yeah. So now we're not talking over each other microphone. We don't got to mute at the same, when the other person's talking. So it's good to be here. Today's Wednesday, July 24th. We're going to go over some search engine stuff, really. Not just search engine optimization, but more search engines and their relation to mostly WordPress sites, but just any site in general. So stick with
Yeah.
us. Like I said, if you have any comments, questions, we're good to answer. We are interactive. We will talk to you. So
Yeah. Happy hump day, everyone.
yeah,
Midweek, we're halfway through.
just posting on LinkedIn that we're live. Okay.
So before you get into it, I just wanted to say how this topic came about. It was actually a question from a prospect, someone that we hope to be a client that we were on the phone with yesterday. And really, it was a great question. And it's something that a lot of clients don't think about. We talk about Google a lot, but there are other search engines out there. And we're going to talk about those today on what you can do.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, on the call, she said, "What about DuckDuckGo?" And I do use DuckDuckGo, not as much as many people, but I was thinking about it, and obviously there's other ones out there, and Google has become synonymous with, let me Google it, but that's not the only one. There's Yandex and Bing, and there's another one I actually learned about today when I was doing some research. It was what's it called? It's on this little graphic over here. But it's called Ecosia. Every time you search, or at least a bulk of searches, they plant a tree. It's like an eco-friendly search engine. And we're on there too. I looked up web design near me, and we were the top result. So that's cool. Never used it. Never even heard of it.
Yeah, I haven't heard of it either, but it's best to control what you can control. And if just to put yourself out there, not just on Google, but the other search engines, because there are people that use them and might not think about.
Yep. Let me get that banner off. It's very distracting. Do you like the blue? Let me take that off too. Are we like floating in space too crazily?
Yeah.
All right. Put my computer into work mode. All these emails stop. All right. Anyways, we're talking to the woman. She said, "DuckDuckGo." We said we need to talk about this. So here we are. So, first thing we just want to talk about, like we just kind of mentioned, is beyond Google, right? Because like we said, it's synonymous with the search engine, but there's many others that are out there. Bing, DuckDuckGo, which is a privacy-based search engine. There's Yandex, which is Russian, depending on your market. We're not marketing to Russia, but it does have a really great search engine for both photos, videos, and just text-based websites. There's Badu, I think that's how you say it. That's a China-based one. Also pretty amazing if you go there. And then there's other things like Apple Maps and different mapping that you have to submit your site to, or there's different methods to do it. But with Apple Maps, you have to send them something and they send you a code at your address, and then you're added to Apple Maps. So all these things combined, not just Google, will get your site ranking because not everybody's using Google. And one thing that I learned a long time ago, and I'll let you take the next part, Marina, is that it was a fact that blew my mind. And every time I remember it, it blows my mind because I often forget it. But Bing itself is usually installed by default on Windows machines. And who owns or who buys Windows machines usually? It's an older generation, and maybe not to be so quick to judge, but also a wealthier generation, or people that have been or are more stable in their lives rather than maybe someone using Chrome. Not to judge, obviously, but the facts have shown, stats have shown, and studies have shown that Bing is used by a more older generation. So, depending on the product that you're selling, maybe you do want to focus more on Bing other than Google, right?
Right. And another thing is if you check your, even in Google Analytics in the Search Console, mostly analytics, you'll see these other search engines come up when if you look and see like the source. I've seen it on plenty of other client sites where it's saying that people are landing or it's being pulled in using these other search engines.
Mhm.
So it is something that you can even see using analytics that traffic is coming from these places.
Yep. Yeah, it's pretty crazy. And I went onto our Bing this morning and I saw that we were ranking, and we're not bragging, but we are top for web design near me, of course. And, like, we're in Clifton Park. It's not the biggest area. For it's not We're next to Albany, so we're not competing with Albany, maybe not compete with local Saratoga Springs or Saratoga County, but near me has been working really well with Bing, and it's pretty cool to see. Impressions and some clicks too. So we should be focusing a little more on Bing. And this is also a lesson to ourselves too. We do focus on Google a lot, which most people do. Google has awesome tools out there, Search Console and things like that. But Bing also has their own Search Console, and you do have to do it differently. Just because you put it out on the web, Bing will read it. Bing, just like all the others, Google too, but without that extra effort that you put in and say, here's what I want to index, or here's problems that I've fixed, and you're sending that to Bing or Google or any other indexing or search consoles, it's more beneficial than to just leave it there and hope for the best. So, the end. Have a good bye.
So
um,
let's talk about voice search next.
yeah.
So ChatGPT is coming to iOS and it's integrating with Siri. I was gonna say Zuri because that's my niece's name, and my dad always can't say Siri, so she's well. Anyways, so
Hey, Zuri.
yeah, he has renamed Siri. Uh, it's being integrated come this fall. So what does this mean? Really, Tony, if you want to just talk about it.
Yeah, it's really about the way people search now. I was gonna say I try to get one that was normal. So when you type out and you're looking for lawn care tips on Google, you're gonna say lawn care tips and you're gonna press enter. But you're not gonna say that to an Alexa as I boot up. I'm sure Alexa is listening right now. Zuri. See if my phone. Or God help us, ChatGPT that's coming to the iOS in fall. You're not going to say lawn care tips. You're going to say such and such, maybe Alexa. How can I get rid of dandelions in my lawn without using chemicals? Right? It's more specific. And sites that aren't looking at long tail keywords and key phrases or not using them, and they're using like the old method of like, here, just let me optimize the page with some headers that are topic based. That's great, of course. But if you're not referencing, whether it be an FAQ, frequently asked questions, and saying, how do I get rid of dandelions in my lawn without using chemicals? And then an answer or even a header and a text, if you're not utilizing that type of natural language, you're missing out really, because yes, so NLP is natural language processing. So when I search for lawn care tips, of course it's not going to know as deep as dandelions, but it's going to know what I'm talking about in more terms, and it's going to look for stuff online. But the more specific that you are with your content and things that people are searching for, the better chance you're going to have it showing up on these new ChatGPT. I'm just going to go to that. I'm excited for it. ChatGPT integrated with iOS and Siri, because Siri, I mean, it does the job, but it's stupid, and Alexa too. And it's crazy to say it's stupid, right? Because it's amazing technology that we never thought we'd have in our lives, but it doesn't do the job like something an LLM is going to do. So I'm very excited for it, but also it's a little scary in terms of SEO, because things are going to change. They've already changed a lot with
Mhm.
the Gen AI and AI in general. So yeah, so voice search.
So there are some things that knowing that this is happening and is currently happening, that you can do and to think about for your website, and that is creating FAQs, frequently asked questions. So, doing some research, figuring out on Google or other things, like what are people asking for, putting a little section, whether that be on its own FAQ page or within your blog at the very end, just addressing some common questions. So there's a chance that when people are searching through voice search, or possibly your page could come up if you prepare for that and start now with just implementing these FAQs, re-indexing the page that you do that to, and seeing that maybe you'll come up.
Yeah.
So that
I
is a tip.
One thing about the FAQs, you could put questions and answers, but the best way to do it is via schema. So
Yeah,
we're talking about WordPress mostly, but schema can be used on anything. You can write a HTML site and it has schema on it. It's just script, JavaScript. So make sure that those FAQs are in JSON format, which is something that Google uses and says, is this a question? Is this an answer? Okay, let me show that in my, what is it called? When you Google the related answer questions.
the
What's that word?
snippets, rich snippets. Oh,
Yes,
to be
it's
found. That's the goal, to be found, I guess, in those little rich snippets area. But um, if you're just talking about seeing other questions
yeah,
on,
that
I'm not really sure what it's called. It's more of like you just start typing and then seeing what other related questions are being asked, related queries. Um, that's a way to frame whatever your FAQs are based on the population of what people are actually looking for.
yeah, and that's where the FAQs should show up too if you do them right. But it's called people also ask. I mean, that's what the tag.
Oh, yes, yes, yes.
I don't know if there's a
That's section.
specific term for it, but
Yeah, related queries, I mean.
yeah, and I've been thinking more and more that almost every page, really, even on our site, I know there's different sites and there's different industries, but FAQs can be on any page. You know, you can answer because once a page is done, there's always questions that I have in mind, or I want to build a page more to answer these questions. But really, an FAQ section could be enough, you know, instead of redoing a page or adding more to the page. Um,
Yeah, I would say too, if you have Yoast installed on your site, then being able to add FAQs, it's actually a block where you can just search FAQ Yoast and it pulls it in, and that will have the schema already wrapped inside of it if you do it that way,
yeah,
versus the old-fashioned classic editor way, which is just like in the text editor and things like that. So
yeah,
that is another plus for the block editor.
I know, and it lets you do all the block things in there too. Like you can rearrange them with an arrow. You can add an image. You can add links inside of there. So it's not just this typing code and it's really hard. It actually makes it kind of fun, if I can say that. WordPress itself is fun. I have fun. Look at my shirt. I'm such a geek. It says code is poetry. That's WordPress's slogan. It's my
Yeah,
it really is poetry. And when you really type in code, whatever code language you decide to learn, if you're a coder, it's very zen and it's better than, for me, better than reading. And I like to just zone out, and it's a beautiful process when you know what you're doing, or even if you don't know what you're doing and you Google everything, to see it work at the end or do the end result well is awesome. My favorite thing, besides my wife. I love
or
my wife.
so let's talk about WordPress and SEO. Well, we always talk about WordPress really, but
It's like WordPress
you know,
central.
when we're at the point where we're about to launch a site, there are a lot of to-do things when it comes to the technical piece of it as well as SEO. And our process, just to share with you, is we have a list that we like to refer to keep all of it, because there's a lot of things to remember and to make sure that everything is done on that checklist. I don't know, Tony, do you have the checklist or?
I don't have it on this computer.
Okay. But
Um,
yeah, it's just a tip to, it's hard to remember everything. And we like to also let the client know everything that's involved in launching your site. And these are things that we want to keep transparent. So it's not just hitting the live button and that's it. There's a lot of administrative, technical things that need to be done before your site is launched. So having a checklist, before you go and even sharing that with the client is definitely a tip that has worked for us, and we continue to kind of, carry that along with each of our launches.
Yeah, sorry I don't
Mm.
have it available right now.
That's alright, we'll show it another time.
Yeah, so pretty much it goes through this long thing. Is the checkbox checks to show in search engines? It's these typical things that sometimes, if you're in the thick of things, you're making the site, and that's the most important part. It works, everything's good. But then these little things at the end, you can literally forget to say, "Show this site to Google," and then it's like all for naught,
Oh, yes.
right?
It's that dreaded little box that is always checked on in staging, and there's depending on where you're hosted, it
Yeah,
might automatically check it off, but sometimes it doesn't,
yeah,
and you should always check because if you don't have that checked off when you come launch, it's hidden or mostly hidden.
yeah. It
Um,
leaves it up to Google whether or not. It's not like a firm, you can't show this, but it says we suggest you don't show this, and I think Google would listen. Why wouldn't it? Um,
yeah.
but yeah, our checklist goes through things like robots.txt file, which is a little file that says, "Hey, search engines, you can access here, but you can't access here," and or even you are a search engine that you have access to this site. You are a search engine, but you don't have access to the site. So there's a lot of rules that could be put into this text file. Um, yeah, and then we just go through these. Is there H1 on every page? Is there a hierarchy of H1s to H2 to H3, H4, H5, H6? Is everything syntaxed correctly? We go through page speed, do a lighthouse report where it shows the errors, if there are any, or things to improve. And then we finish projects that way. Because we have finished projects not using this way. And like we said, it can get crazy near the end, and you just kind of forget these little pieces that really honestly matter. When you do a site, you might as well finish it and do it right, not just half ass. See, I'm not swearing.
Good job.
Thank you.
Uh, yeah, so is there another topic that we wanna hit on with the search engines?
Well, I
Um,
mean, we have a lot of little topics here that if we wanted to cover anything, but it's really the same stuff over and over. But yeah, I did have something on eat here, and I know you know about eating, not eating food, but the expertise, authoritative, and trustworthiness,
mhm,
that method.
yeah,
Um, do you have anything to say on that? I'm just
yeah.
curious. I could talk about it too, but
Yeah, there's a lot of things that, should be done for every website, and I have mostly tips on the blog. If you have a blog, it's important to have an author profile, information about the author to show that they are an expert and really show what is their expertise and having a bio page and having that seen within the blog, um, as well as just making a actual visual from a design standpoint, a visual, illustration of, okay, who is that author and what and how does it relate to the topic? Super important to show the credibility, it's not just John Doe here writing this blog, but it's someone who has other social profiles, other websites that they're on. They're a writer, they're a doctor on the specific topic. Google looks for all of that, and it's best to kind of show that. And a lot of the times when I've worked for companies that they might have a blog, but they don't show who the author is or even have it the author's like hidden behind the scenes. Those days are over. Like you have to be upfront in order for your content to go before somebody else's to show that this is actually true content and not AI or someone else writing it that has no interest or knowledge of it. So it's super important to like pull in real information about the author and have those connections, links back and forth for your blog authors.
it's funny. Every time I was gonna jump in, you said what I was gonna say. Uh, the image, social post. I mean, not social post, but social profile links. Because, and you know what else? Forget about that part. we keep saying Google. It's so
I know.
it's such a word, right? Because we're saying it to Google, to Google, to Google. But this goes to anything, and like we said in the beginning, the your audience could be on a different search engine, you know? Maybe it is DuckDuckGo, maybe that type of person who craves privacy over, I'm gonna say functionality because I do believe Google does give better results. Those are a certain user persona, you know what I mean? So depending on the
Yeah.
company or Bing, and that's again, that's for, I say older generation. I don't mean to like age shame or anything like that. But I think it's a true fact. We can look up the stats, and it's been going on for years because when you're an older person, uh, you don't go to delete or install Chrome and say, this is my new default browser. I know yesterday was Gorgeous Grandma Day, and we were saying like grandmas are getting more technically savvy, but there's a lot of grandmas that are not more technically savvy, and grandpas, and just people in general. And maybe they like Bing. I don't like Bing to search for, but some people do. I went on that site earlier just to like do a little research for this, and things were
Mhm.
broken. They were linking to pages that had broke, I mean, whatever with font, but like the font was broken. I couldn't click the button. There was a console error. I was like, this is not quality. So to each his own. To each their own.
Yeah, so I have another tip too for eat. And it's important when you're updating your content, things get outdated. I remember doing blogs about Google updates, and like sharing that and each year there's like a new one. But even if it's a topic that changes so often, to go back in that existing blog that has already been there and is already being found on Google and saying when it was updated, showing that it's the information is now applying to today is an opportunity to show the search engines that you are updating your content regularly and it is relevant today and it is timely in the sense of it being applying for today. It's a big thing within SEO and the importance to make sure that you can go ahead and have that written right before you even hit the content on the page that this has been updated. It tells it's better user experience. How many times have we gone on a page and we're like, "This is outdated?"
Yeah. And so you can add publish date and update date even in the schema too, you know. For so schema has a
Oh,
thing.
yeah, so it's dynamically pulling
Yeah,
it.
and I think Yoast probably does it automatically, so we don't really see it happening, but yeah, it'll say, like, publish date versus update date, and that'll tell not Google, but search engines,
Yeah.
that
I know, we're
that's
so used to saying Google.
I know, I gotta, like, slap myself. No more Google, no more Google. Alright, but the days are
Huh?
oh,
What is
sorry,
all what did
uh,
I miss?
50th live stream!
Oh, why are we in the fire, though? We're supposed to be like confetti, confetti,
Uh,
not
ah,
not in the inferno.
50, I don't have anything. Here's a flag. Up. Yeah, we made it. We did it. 50 live streams. We're still
Sure.
here,
Mhm.
and it's been really beneficial and to us and to a couple people that have asked questions to us. Hopefully, it's beneficial to them. And we're going to continue to do it till 100 and then 1,000. And on our last days, on our deathbed, really. Be
Oh
like,
my god.
welcome to the live stream. We'll be using Bing then. We're like, I gotta use Bing.
No, so yeah, we've done this for 50 days, which is crazy. I haven't even worked out for 50 days straight, almost straight. Um,
Yeah.
so it's exciting. It's exciting to one of our goals was just to get out there, talk about our business, show everyone who we are. And if you're just tuning in today, um, we're I'm the web designer and Tony's the developer. And this is our small business, and we're just going out there trying to help other businesses to help grow their presence and even create a presence because a lot of businesses might not even have an online presence. Mostly people that I guess are just working and like, they have they're artisans or things like that. So our goal is to really uniquely create a website that matches their tone of their business. So that's something that we really have a strong passion for. We enjoy doing. We're not just rolling out websites with a template. We're having a discovery call, understanding what's the story behind their business. And I love mostly learning about the client and finding out what makes them different. We're all different in our own ways, and each business has its own um, unique quality about it. So highlighting that on the website is really one of my favorite parts. What
Yeah,
about what about you, Tony?
the money. No, I enjoy that part too. We talked to a client, like we were saying yesterday, and her business is named after her dog, right? That died. And
Yeah, it was a very cute story.
yeah, so this kind of like backstory lore, as I like to call it, really helps us develop a site and develop it well, and not be this like here it is, So
Yeah, it would be so boring if we're just like, oh, just add copy paste and a template and things like that. We're really starting each project from scratch, and that's the creation part that I love to do.
yeah, she's good at
Um,
it too. Yeah, I mean, I love all the pieces of it. I really love my favorite part is when you hand me this Figma file or whatever, and I start the site. So those first the
yeah.
first 8 hours, of my life in terms of project are the happiest, and I like setting it up, I like branding it and getting things to a point where the rest of it becomes easier, and the more I do it, the easier they become, the quicker I get, and the more enjoyable it is. In the beginning, not as enjoyable. You start and you go the wrong direction. You don't save things in variables, and you don't care, about the future of yourself and your well-being and your emotional health. You just do things that are stupid. So I've learned along the process I really enjoy what I do and how to enjoy to do what I do, because I think that's a big problem in the developer and designer community. They'll see tutorials, follow along to free code camp, but they don't actually do the projects. And when they do the projects, it becomes this big struggle because I'm not saying not to do those, but you don't learn your own way to do it. You're learning somebody else's, which is fine. And I get it for tips and skills and things like that, but get in there and do it is my thing. And I've always done that, messed so many things up. I've broken so many things, production sites. I don't do that anymore. But these errors and these faults that you come upon are the things that grow you in the future. So
Yeah, yeah,
that was the
definitely, and I
fun.
think these lives have helped us just stay on top of, things that we come across with all the new technology that has come out, talking about it, and in real time, discussing some of the challenges that we're having, and also sharing tips that are working for us. That's really what these lives are about, is just to talk and learn from each other, and we learn from our viewers too when we get questions and things like that. We love that, because it just we learn stuff. We learn, oh, even just yesterday when somebody asked that question
Yeah,
about the search engines, it's like, "Oh my gosh, I haven't really thought about that," but there's this whole other process. There's a whole other analytics that you have to, like, submit, and that should be part of a checklist. We should be recommending our clients to do this, not just focus on Google, which is most search engine, but everything, because you might as well put all your efforts out there and see what bites.
yep, definitely.
Yeah.
I was gonna say the only reason I do live streams is to see your warm, pretty face.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome.
Oh,
Um, yeah, let's do a little dance. No, I'm just kidding. I just had like a graphic just to do our summary of what we just talked about. So scan our website here if you want to go there. We're talking about beyond Google. So focus on things that are beyond Google. If your audience is older and wealthy, It's not the best thing. Go to Bing and concentrate more on Bing. They have their own process. It doesn't mean just because you're on Google, you're going to show up on Bing. You will, but not optimized. DuckDuckGo, does your audience prefer privacy and don't want to be whatever tracked by Mark Zuckerberg and Elon Musk? Then DuckDuckGo might be the way. And there's other ones too. Brave, Yandex if you're in Russia. I don't know who's doing that. Baidu in China and Ecosia, which I was going to say. I didn't. Let me just get the site up. Hold up. Ecosia. Check this out. The search engine that plants trees. Look at this lady. So it says like they plant all these trees, and it's based on because they're getting money from searches. So I guess they get money to plant the trees. Cool, right?
Wow, it's a green search engine company.
So web design near me. Hey, look, there's me. TonyChickaroni.com and then 3tonedigital.com. We own this land. Just need your website up here. Yeah, so I mean, we focus a lot on SEO. We are kind of coming up from nothing. You know, we are a new company, 2 years old, and it does take time and put a lot of effort into it per week to interlink things, as Raina was saying, going back to old blogs and updating them so they're not stale, linking new web design pages and live streams and such. So, oh no, I said and such. God help me. So beyond Google, yes, voice and AI search, like we mentioned, focusing on framing your content into a more spoken query type of language. So instead of saying lawn care near me, or whatever that example was, you say, how do I get rid of dandelions in the lawn? You know, so it's more of a sentence.
I heard it's baking soda. I saw somewhere.
Oh, Raina is my search engine. Yeah, and I am very excited. A lot of people are not. A lot of people are getting rid of their iPhones because the ChatGPT is not going to be, you can't take it off. It's always going to be integrated. I guess you could turn Siri off, maybe, but I don't know. I'm excited for it. Take my data, whatever. Yeah, and I mean, I have open discussion here, but
if anyone has any questions of what we went over today, just put it in the comments. We'll be happy to go over it
the next
as
time.
we're on now, or even next time.
Yeah, you got about.
We're gonna go into just some random talk in a couple minutes. I have a couple things.
Oh, do you? Yeah, let's talk about it. Let me get this screen off and let me sit back.
Well, today is National Cousins Day.
Oh, what? Crazy.
So shout out to all my cousins out there, the ones I know, the ones I don't know, the ones I talk to, the ones I don't talk to because we've never met or what. I apparently have a lot of cousins out there. I don't know. So it's cousins. And it's also there was another one national that I wanted to talk about.
Yeah. Bring us up to date on today's national days, Raina.
Let's see.
See you warm, pretty face.
Oh, it's weird. It's National Drive-Through Day. Don't tell the girls that. They'll be like, fast food. It looks like the drive-through to like McDonald's or something. Yo. But it recognizes an innovation conveniently going strong today, which is creation of drive-throughs, which started in the 1950s.
Yeah, didn't they kind of like you drove and then they'd have roller skates and stuff? I just have two things to say about drive-throughs. One,
okay.
What did we have the other day? What was that food? Five Guys. Wasn't a drive-through, but what the heck? I can't eat fast food anymore because it gives me stomachache. This is the second time now.
I thought this was about a drive-through.
I know, I'm just saying fast food because it's drive-through, but the second part is about drive-through. Is that they started using AI at McDonald's, I think it was, and they had to stop using it quickly because it was getting all the orders messed up and crazy and adding something really wild on there. But it was trying to, this kind of goes along with the search engines. When you're searching something and it's doing NLP, that's natural language processing, and then exporting it into this new sentence, really, there can be errors. They say it hallucinates. ChatGPT hallucinated last night on me. I said something pretty normal, and it was like the same line over and over, very wild. So you
I
can
know.
imagine.
Oh, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, like, you imagine when it's in a form of rushing, like two, what is it? 150 burgers, 150 shakes, 100, like that, and then it's like I don't know what to do. So they took it out, but I'm sure it'll get better and they'll bring it back. Sorry.
Wow. Um, see, this happens to me too. I was trying to remember. Uh, I forgot. See, sometimes this happens to us live here. Like, I'll have something in my head and feel like I have to say it, but then I interrupt him, or vice versa, and then we'll lose it and be like, "Oh, well, at least you got your point out there. Mine will come and go, I guess."
Come back tomorrow.
Yeah.
Um,
Wow.
yeah. So what else is there? Drive through day. Anything else?
All the other ones are kinda, weird, I think. There's National Thermal Engineer Day.
It's boring.
So, that's good. National Tequila Day.
That what used to be.
Amelia Earhart Day is today. That's so
Ah,
I just find it so amazing that she went out there all by herself. American aviation pioneer she was.
yeah. There's conspiracy theories about her in this situation.
Yeah,
Um,
I'm sure. Yeah.
you know what? Today on the U.S. pop charts from Rocky 3, Raina's pumped up song, "The Eye of the Tiger"
Oh,
was released.
oh, really? This is
Yeah,
what came out today? Eye of the Tiger, yeah, if you ever need motivation before a big event, put that on, it does a trick. It
yeah,
does a
she'll put it on and then she slides into the room like Tom Cruise. Oh my god, here she
I
is.
know.
Closes her eyes. Sure.
Oh, boy.
Eye of the tiger, it's the thrill of the fight.
Actually, that's my brother's. I think of, my brother Royce, that's his, I feel like when I that is his, like, what is it called when you have a song, the background?
His theme song.
Yes, there we go. That would be his theme song.
His middle name is Tyson, like Rocky.
Yeah.
That's
So,
cool too.
Royce, if you're listening, shout out to Roy.
Royce.
Eye of the Tiger.
I like Royce. I like all of them. I don't know. I can't judge them in order. It would be crazy to do on a live stream. I
Yeah,
think
don't
they're
do
all.
that.
I know.
Don't do
Right.
that.
No, I think they're such
Which
unique people.
brother-in-law do I like best?
I know.
There's 3 to choose from.
They're all such different people, right? Which is
Mhm.
really cool and unique. They're not the same. I don't like you'd meet them and be like, these are 3 different, completely different people.
Yeah.
And you are like a combination of all of them, different the humor of Rasheen, whatever Royce is. You're more, I don't know, you're more Richard than Royce, but anyways, brothers talk. I like
Okay.
them, you guys. So, I don't have anything else to talk about. It's Wednesday. I know we have some things to do. We've been on for about 38 minutes. Yeah, I mean, it says longer, but I turned it on longer. But we've been on for about 38 minutes. Oh,
Alright, I think this is a good place to end. I'll end with my final word, I guess.
let's get you up there. And the stage is yours, baby.
Alright, today's final word is control what you can control what you can control, meaning there's a lot of things that we can't in life and just with our businesses, the algorithm and things like that, we can't control, but what you can control are your efforts and your actions and just submitting what you can everywhere and to see what really connects with your audience. So, that would be my final word of the day. Focus your efforts and control what you can. Oh, you're on mute. It's like a tongue twister. Control what
I
you
know.
can control. That's the end.
Yeah, I was gonna say, just there's a lot out there, and you never know where, if you're a website owner or business owner, where your actual audience is, and they might not be where you expect them to be. They could be somewhere else. And what we didn't even tackle is like social. Like when you search now, Twitter comes right, not Twitter, sorry, X comes right up top. So having a good grasp on social um, will benefit you, not just search engines, because people are oddly searching on social for things too. I guess it's not that odd. I've looked for things on. I wouldn't look for like a contractor or anything on social, but people do it. Like new porch, need a new deck.
Yeah,
How do
look
I
at
get rid of
reviews.
dandelions?
I'll look at reviews for sure on social.
Yeah, definitely goes that
Pictures
route.
and
Yep.
things like that. All
Yes.
right, everyone. I hope you guys have an amazing Wednesday and a productive day.
Yep.
See
I'm gonna,
you tomorrow.
I'm gonna play us out with some Melody Gardot.
That's my girl.
Oh no, not that one.
Oh no, don't go in the fire.